Ever wondered why some people can mesmerize and captivate the audience members with just one or two stories? Now, many people have seen and watched my World Championship of Public Speaking Grand Finals videos, and they ask me the same question. Why is it that your story is so compelling? What are some of the key ingredients in your story that you can share with us so that we can replicate the same amount and same level of success? Indeed, when it comes to storytelling, it's just like baking a nice, delicious layered cake. There are some key ingredients in it. We need to calibrate the right temperature. We need to choose the kind of ingredients very selectively so that the audience members will be able to consume and truly enjoy that piece of delicious cake. I'm going to share with you some of the secrets behind crafting a powerful, compelling, and engaging story. But first, let us understand that when it comes to crafting a powerful story, it's not a one-time thing. What do I mean by that? It means that when it comes to writing a story, it's not just written one time. Because as we have heard of this phrase being said many times, a great story is not written, but a great story is rewritten. And just make a guess, how many times I rewrote my grand finals speech? To be more specific, how many times you think I rewrote just one story in my grand final speech? 20, 30, or 40 times? Now, when it came down to that particular story, I rewrote it a total of 80 times. Now, 80 times was required because I needed to make some changes, going from character development to character description to adding the emotional complexity and the thought patterns in. There are so many key ingredients in a story, and I'm going to share them with you. First and foremost, we need to understand that crafting a powerful story requires us first to source for these ingredients. And quite unlike the baking a cake process, you can't necessarily just go to a supermarket and just select those ingredients. Because when it comes to writing a story, if you truly want to make it your own, you truly want to make it unique, then you need to start accumulating these ingredients very early on. And that's why I'm going to advise you to do this. If you want to create a powerful and compelling story, the number one thing that you need to do right now is to start having a story bank. What do I mean by a story bank? It works like a bank where we go and deposit money, or sometimes withdraw money as well. Now, a story bank works exactly in the same way. Out there in our society, in the world, we do see many unique and interesting occurrences. Every single time we find something interesting, every single time we find something compelling, it can be your own experiences, it can be other people's experiences, grab them and credit it, deposit it into your story bank. Some people would tell you that, oh, it's very straightforward. Just come up with a notebook or a physical notepad and make that your story bank. My advice would be the story bank needs to be number one, readily accessible, and number two, easy for you to document it on the go. What do I mean by that? It means that if you were to have a notepad and you have your notepad at home, sometimes when you go out on the street, whether you go for shopping or go for a meal, and you see an interesting occurrence, you want to pen it down, you can't do so because the notepad is not with you. And we all know that many times while we try and think that, oh, we just commit it to memory, that's not going to work because we tend to forget. The faintest pencil mark, it's better than the best of memory. So that is why we need to pen it down, or in the current day and age, we don't pen it literally. We have a smartphone. We can use our mobile phones and then start a new document and key it into our phone. So therefore, in my own smartphone, I have a specific document that's called a story bank. And I record all the stories that I've seen, whether it's based on my experiences or other people's experiences, into that story bank. And when it comes to crafting a speech, I don't necessarily have to start brainstorming from scratch there and then. Because creativity does not work in a way whereby you can do it in a very last-minute fashion. You need to have some accumulated materials over a period of time. So when I went into crafting my speech for the semi-finals and the grand finals, I tapped into my story bank and was able to easily weave a story after firming up my universal speech message. So number one thing that you can do right now, if you have not done so, it's never too late. Start a story bank, accumulate those stories, and you will reap the fruits of your labor in time to come. I'll see you in the next video series. Now, notice that when we talk about visualizing the audience members, visualizing as we speak, we present to an audience, I challenge you to visualize and go beyond just that crowd that you expected to speak before. Visualize yourself